Hi everybody! For quite some years now I've been using worms like these in my fishing for brackish perch here in Denmark. And I must say I think I've been fairly successful in doing so. The worms comes in many shapes and sizes and colors and are quite easy to get hold of. Also, they're fairly cheap to buy. So you could think, why would I even consider making a worm of my own? Well, they have one big flaw. It's not my own design. Also, my favorite colors are getting harder and harder to get hold of, so I'd like to be able to mix up some soft plastic here at home and cast my own lures. In this video I'll show you how I create a worm model on my computer. When it's printed out, we'll make a mold from that model and then we'll cast some lures, and in the end we'll go to the river and see if we can catch some perch on that lure. Hopefully some big nasty perch. Well, just hang in here and see how it's done. Well, I've actually already made my worm model and this is what it looks like. So I think we should start out by going into the computer and see how this model is constructed. We're now sitting here in front of the computer, and as you can see I've opened up Fusion 360, which is my preferred software when it comes to 3D modeling. I've also loaded in my project, my worm project, and I've moved all the way to the beginning down here in the timeline so we can take it step by step. And the first step will be to make a sketch here. And as you can see, this sketch consists of a lot of circles on a row here. There's a bit different in size. The smallest one are down here, which will be the tail, and up here we have the head, and the largest ones will be just after the head here. And as you can see, the circles they overlap a bit, so when I use the revolve tool they will stick together and be created as one long body here. Okay, and then next step will be yet another drawing or a sketch, and that will be the tail. As you can see, this is more or less a standard grub tail, and once I just expand it a little bit, which gives it a bit of volume, you will have a nice tail there. And then I use the fillet tool to give a better transition between the round body and the flat tail here. Okay. Next step will be yet another sketch, which will be the legs of the worm. I know that worms don't have legs, but this worm that I'm trying to imitate actually have kind of legs down the side, and I think that this will be a good way to imitate that. So I'll just get ahead a little bit where I create tubes of all these legs like that, and then I just use the fillet tool again to round off the tail so it's nice and round at the edges. Then I create two small spheres and move them up, and that will be the eyes of the worm. I'm sure it's not needed for this kind of a thing, but kind of a cool thing anyway, so I made some eyes on it as well. And then I have used the fillet tool once again, this time to make the section between the two spheres a bit larger, to make the worm more durable and make it easier to actually I will use a needle to thread through the worm, and I'd like to give that a little better chance to stay in the middle and don't get outside of the worm when doing so. Okay, so it'll nice and fat, and well, this is actually more or less the finished worm. As you can see here in the next step, I just scaled it down a bit, because once I made my first print I discovered that it actually got a bit too long to what I wanted, so I just scaled it down 10-15% here in my program. And well, this is more or less the finished result. All the next steps will be only to make it easier to make the master and create the mold, and has nothing to do with the model itself. Okay, so let's just go through those steps as well.
First of all, I create yet another sketch here, which is just a few circles, and I'll use that to create the sprout, what will be the sprout of the mold. The diameter here of the larger part will be the same diameter as the nozzle of my injector, as I will be using that to cast the worms. Then I create yet another sketch, which is just these two lines that go down and just touch the end of the legs here and go all the way to what will be the outside of the mold up here. And I'll just create chews on that as well. And this will help me vent the air out of the mold when I push in the soft plastic in the worm. I'd like the air to be able to get out through the legs and out of the mold. So I hopefully will have as little bubbles in the mold as in the cast as possible. Okay. And the last part is just to cut the model down the middle. And as you can see, when I pull them apart here, you have now two halves. And I do this as my 3D printer, which is not the highest quality. It will give me a much better result when I don't need any support, so I can put it on the flat side and print it that way. That will give me by far the best result. And I'll just glue these two parts together afterwards and create the mold from that. Okay? Well, that was all here from the computer. Let's get back out to the shed.
And just like I already made the model on the computer, I also printed out the outcome. And this is what it looks like. As you can see, I also given it a few layers of paint. This will smoothen the surface a bit. I don't really think that is needed, as no insect or worms have a completely smooth body, but still it looks a little better. So that's what I have done. Okay, and now this one is ready to make a mold from. And well, the making of this mold won't vary a lot from the other movie where I made an injection mold. So if you want all details, I think you should follow the link up here to see those, because I'll probably be leaving something out here. Well, let's just get on with making the mold. I'll just start out by showing you a few more preparations I've done in advance. First of all, we have the master here. We have a piece of modeling clay placed on a board here. It's just a nice big flat piece of modeling clay. Apart from that, I've made some hard sides, just like in my other injection mold movie. This will give me a much more stable mold for injection mold, and also it will reduce the amount of silicones needed to a minimum. So I've made those. And last but not least, the good old Lego frame for the mold. Well, and first of all, I'll just start out by using my frame here to kind of set the boundaries of the mold here. And then I need to bury this halfway down into the mold, with the top here, which is represents the mouth of my injector, all the way up here in the top. So I'll just do that. So I'll just do like that, and then maybe just remove little bits here. And now I'll just make sure that I have no gaps here along the sides of the master here, and that will take a little bit of time getting all those details in place, and I won't bother you with that. I'll just skip through where we are ready to do the cast, okay? That really was a lot of work getting all the transition between the modeling clay and the master all perfect. But I think now we're there. As you can see, I also used this brush to just make some guides for the two molds to assemble correctly. With the lure, with these small details, it's very important that the mold is exactly assembled. So that should be ensured by all these guide holes. Now I'll just put on my frame here, and then I'll grease it all up with Vaseline as I usually do. A little extra this time because the detailed master here. So I'll just do that. When you're casting lures, it's of course always more efficient to cast more at a time. So I actually ended up making 2 similar molds of my master here. I could have chosen the other approach, which I normally do by making a resin cast of the mold and cast new ones from that, but at this point I thought it would be just as easy to just make 2. Okay, so I've made these 2 ready. They are greased up with Vaseline. I have my sides ready here and the Lego frame on. So now I just need to mix up some silicone, and I calculated a bit, and I need about 60 grams for each, considering I have these hard sides that will take up most of the space within the mold here. So I'll need 60 grams of each. So I'll just mix up 120 grams of the silicone with 6 grams of the hardener. That'll give me a little overhead if I need a little bit extra. After that, I'll just put it in my vacuum chamber to make sure that there's as little bubbles in it as possible. As with these very delicate masters here, you need it doesn't take much to ruin it. So I want to make sure that there's no bubbles in there. Okay, and well, then I'll just leave in a few clips of that whole process until we have the first half of the mold ready. Okay guys, now the first part of the mold has had about 15 hours to harden, and I think it's safe to peel off the modeling clay. So let's just do that and check how it looks here. Nice and quiet. I will take care not to peel the master out here. Okay, I see that there's a few little fragments of the modeling clay here. I will try to remove that before I make part 2 of the mold. The silicone has now had 24 hours to harden completely, and we have reached probably my favorite point of most lure making projects, the separation of the 2 parts of the mold here. So I'll just grab one of them and see if we can open the mold up. And with these hard side molds it's not as easy, but I think we got it here. Yes, yes. Taking out the master like that. Looks fairly good. A little bit of cleaning up I see here, but apart from that, well, looking forward to trying that. Let's just do the same with this one. And it requires a little bit of strength here, yes, but well, looks quite good. Now I'll just grab a knife and clean up the edges here a bit, and then we are actually ready to make a few casts. So I'll just do that. I'll clean up the mold with a knife. I will heat up some soft plastic in my microwave, and we'll go ahead and make some casts. Okay, we're just about getting ready to the chemistry part here of the video. But before I get started, there's just a few things I'd like to say. First of all, you should always wear a mask. These things are probably not that healthy for you, but I'll leave it out for the first part here where I can speak, and then later on when I get into production mode, I'll probably put it on. When it comes to hardness of your bait and your soft plastic, I will start out by using a soft version, hoping to get something like the hardness of these two, which are two of my favorites. Maybe later on I'll mix it up with some medium hardness, but it depends a little bit. You want the worm to be fairly firm and strong when it comes to biting, but still you have the tail that you want to wiggle at the slightest movement of the bait. So you need to figure out exactly where to be on that scale. Okay? And also when it comes to colors, the worms that we are imitating for these baits, which are for perch and it's saltwater worms, they usually have a color that ranges between orange, red, brown, all the way over to something that's a bit purple. And some of the best colors, I think, is these purple ones. These are known as electric blue, I think, and this one is June bug, as I recall it. And they are both two different shades of purple, but also red colors for some areas maybe, or sometimes more or less very, very transparent colors can also work well. Different kind of glitter in them. For glitter, it's a question of finding the right size. You don't want to clog up those fine legs of your worm. On the other hand, you want it not to be like a color, but like actually flakes that reflects the sunlight. So you have to find some glitter that match the exact size. And colors, well, I have a few colors here. I'll probably mix up a bit if I can't find the right color, but I'll try to do that. Okay. What else? Well, I have my little injector here. A few minutes before I want to start injecting, I'll put it in the oven because I like it to be hot to make it easier for the soft plastic when I pull it up and push it in to get out of the injector. So I'll try to keep it warm along the way. Okay, I have a few clamps to clamp together the two molds here, and well, I'll just get started now, I think. I think we have the first color ready now, so I have just placed this one here. My color is here in the oven. I'll just mix it up to make sure that the glitter is distributed. Like that. Then I'll grab my injector here. Suck up a bit here. And push down. Hopefully it should come up through those little holes on the side. It does, I think. Oh, and then we'll have to wait a little bit. I think we should try. And here behind me I have some a bowl of water which I will drop the worms into when they're done. But well, oh, they look nice. They look really, really nice. I love it. I love it. Okay, we'll put them down here. And it really seems like all the legs are intact, which is very nice. So, well, I'm satisfied with this so far. I've been casting a few of the worms, and I'm starting to get a bit of a flow of it. So now I have some that is cooled down and some that is cooling down in the mold here. But while I'm waiting, I might as well trim the cold ones here, and for that I'll just put on my glasses here, and then I will grab a scissor, and as you can see I need to to grab off those cut off those ventilation channels I made for the legs here. So I'll just do that just with a scissor. Okay, and then you get I don't know how easy it is to see, but a nice worm with legs here. And I think well, and when it comes to soften it, well, it usually takes a little time for the complete hardness to occur, so I wouldn't know, but at this point they seem fairly very soft, maybe a bit softer than I like, but I think at least the tail will be working fine with this softness here. Okay, and meanwhile the ones that are in the mold here are ready to get out, I think, so I can just take these, and to save time I'll just cut off the funnel bit here, because once it's been in the water you can't reheat it, because you don't want water down to the hot soft plastic. So I'll just put them up here for the next batch, and these I'll put in the water to cool down like that. And then I'll get ready for the next ones. Hi guys, well, we're out here by the river to do a bit of testing. I have rigged up some of the worms here on a little rig. I'll be fishing them on 1 meter of fluorocarbon in top of a little weight here. And well, let's see if there's any fish out here. Okay. What the... Oh! What the... That was a strange strike. I could have foul hooked this one, but it's really strange. No head shakes, so I think it's foul hooked, but let's see. Quite heavy though, but let's see. No, it's looks right. It's just fighting strange. Not that big, this one. Once again. Oh, what the... This is a nice fish, I think. They usually don't make screaming runs like this. Well, let's see. It's quite heavy, I think. Let's see.
heavy head shakes. Could be quite a good fish, this one. Let's see, let's see. Oh, there it is, there it is. Well, it's not bigger than the other one, I think, but just a nice fish. Just a nice fish. Here. Let's see. Let's see, let's see, let's see. I'll just grab it here. Once again, well, my worm is beaten up already, but oh, this is a beautiful fish, huh? Beautiful, beautiful fish. Should we get the weight estimate on this one as well? Carefully along the side of the gill plate here, you can weigh it, and this one is 1200 grams. So, well, let's see, come on, leave that one. What a beautiful fish. Old warrior here still, but with the tail a bit damaged, but well, let him swim. Oh, this is a good one as well. I think maybe not as big as the other one, but decent fish. You can see for these from these head shakes. Oh, it's not a small one. It's not a small one. Let's see. Doesn't want to come in here. It's actually quite heavy. Let's just dig down in the weeds. I don't know. Feels like a really good fish. This one as well. Have to get the net. Have to get the net. Okay. Let's see, let's see. Come on, come on here. Big perch here. These perch are huge. This one is even bigger, I think, than any of the others. Let's see. As you can see, they take in the whole worm and I get stuck on the top. Look at this one. Nice, nice perch, huh? Nice, nice perch. Let's just weigh it quickly. This one, 1540. 1540, that's a nice fish. That's a nice fish. Nice and fat. And, well, on the purple worm, the grid does work. Swim away, little friend. Oh, nice fish, nice fish. Okay, this is good, this is nice, this is nice. Here in the last rays of sun. Not the biggest of the day, I think, but still a nice fish. Just grab my net again. There's the lighter colored one. That's a nice fish. Beautiful. It's way past the 1 kilo mark, I think. 1.3 maybe. Let's have a look. 1 point. Just below 1.3, 1.28, I think. So beautiful, these fish. So beautiful. Well, I ended up covering quite some water today to finally find some fish, but when I did, the fish really liked the new worm, and I got 4 nice fish over the 1 kilo mark, actually over 1.2 kilo, all of them, with the biggest one of 1540, I think. Quite a nice fish. So I'm very satisfied. I'm very satisfied with the new worm. One thing though is with the very soft soft plastic, they tend to tear the worms quite easily. So I think I'll experiment a bit with some harder soft plastic. But well, let's see how I figure out with that. Okay. Well, back to the studio.
I hope you enjoyed that little test fishing session as much as I did. I really found that it was quite successful and a good proof of the worm. Since then I've actually been on a few more test trips, as I wanted to test making the worm a bit more durable, as I mentioned under the test fishing. So I combined the soft and the medium soft plastic and made a more durable worm that still has a fully wriggling tail, and that was very successful. The worms are now just as I want them. Well, that's all for now. I hope you enjoyed the movie, and there's nothing left to say for me, but I hope you see me soon.